Howdy, you fine internet folk. I'm Brian, and here's some advice. We've got a lovely selection of stories for today. 3 dog stories. Our featured letter is the second story, so hang tight. This first one is a doozy, so hopefully you enjoy it. It's titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Follow the Rules of My Grounding Due to Their Stupid Reasoning? And this is from That One Singing Boy. I'm a 16-year-old female, and I have a 10-year-old dog. He is terrified of loud beeping sounds or anything loud and high-pitched in general, to the point where he'll start shaking and pacing around the house. In extreme cases, he'll start to urinate out of fear, which is really inconvenient because I'm the one who has to clean it up all the time. I get that people are bored, my parents are bored, whatever, but we have a Nest smoke detector, which sounds when you test it. My dog knows what comes after the warning voice on the smoke detector, so even then he starts freaking out. Apparently, that's not entertaining enough for them, so they take it a step further and actually test it. My dog barks and whines every single time they do it, and my parents just laugh at him. They've been doing it continuously, despite me telling them that it gives him anxiety multiple times. They did it once more yesterday, and my dog began to urinate on my bedroom floor. I snapped at this point, and I walked into the room and said, "You jerks know that he just peed on the floor because you're selfishly entertaining yourself, right?" My dad started going off and said that I had no right to speak to them in that tone. And I told them, "Well, speaking to you nicely and reasonably didn't seem to get the idea through your heads, so let me talk slow for you. You're giving our dog anxiety attacks, and it's not funny." My parents said that I didn't get to tell them what was funny and what wasn't, so I just said, "You're abusing my dog for entertainment. Grow up." I'm now grounded for being disrespectful, and I've honestly been repeatedly overstepping the boundaries of my grounding because I think it's the dumbest reason that I've ever been grounded for. They were being immature, and I told it like it is. My parents are the type who think that they're right all the time, and when it comes to their opinions and wants versus ours, and they're constantly using the "we're the parent, you're the child" argument as if it absolves them of any wrongdoing. It makes me mad. My brother told me that I'm acting entitled for disrespecting the regulations of my grounding, i.e. not being allowed on my phone, I'm not allowed to play video games, etc. I disagree because 1, the reason why I'm grounded is because I stood up to them abusing my dog, and 2, I'm already cut off from communication with anyone else besides my immediate family, and I have nothing else to do other than lose my mind. Am I the jerk here? Hi OP, you're not a jerk at all. Your parents are horrible people. They are literally abusing your dog, and it isn't ever funny to torture an animal. I know that you mentioned that they're bored, but normal people don't turn towards abusing animals for fun. They play parcheesi. Play a board game, a video game, watch TV, or a movie for crying out loud, but don't abuse an animal for giggles. I would try to sit down with your parents and have a discussion about this. I would do this at a time when tempers are put away and everyone is calm. Ask them how they would feel if you set off the alarm in the middle of the night when they were sleeping, and ask them if they would think that was funny. Sometimes folks need things framed in terms of how this would impact them before they can understand why their behavior is unacceptable. Your parents' utter lack of empathy is appalling, and it sounds like they may be in part doing this because they get a rise out of you as well. With that in mind, it would be a good idea to not react to their cruel behavior. I would also talk to them about considering family counseling. It sounds like your family needs to learn more healthy ways of communicating with each other. Further, a counselor may be able to help them see how damaging their behavior truly is and do so more effectively than you will be able to. If all that fails, I would consider purchasing soundproofing for a small room or a closet where you can bring your dog, if you can afford the materials, that is. Other than that, I don't know what else to tell you, other than maybe try to get out of the situation as soon as possible. Anyhow, good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Getting Rid of a Dog My Girlfriend Wanted to Adopt? And this is from Heightened Grip 3. Okay, so I'm a 28-year-old male and my girlfriend is a 23-year-old female. We went traveling earlier this year. We made it to Indonesia for our last stop and we stayed for 3 weeks. The first day we got there, when we were on the beach, a small puppy approached us. He was small, underfed, and in a bad way, and my girlfriend got him some puppy food and fed it. I told her that this was stupid and it was going to draw in other dogs and that she was going to get attached. The next morning, the puppy was still on the beach near our apartment, and again, my girlfriend decided to feed it. Over the next few days, she kept feeding the dog and she grew super attached to it. We were due to travel to our next hotel in a different city and the dog followed us all the way. Like, literally followed us on the taxi, through the city, and to the apartment. The dog kept crying outside the hotel, and the next day my girlfriend took it to a local vet, got its rabies vaccine and tests, which all came back clean, and then the next night, when the dog was crying, she let it in the apartment where it slept. My girlfriend then hit me with a bombshell the next day, that she was going to spend another 3 months in the country so that we could get the dog back to the UK. She had spent hours researching and deciding to break the journey home into 2 very short flights flights and a ferry so that it's less stress for the dog. She knew that we needed to get the dog tested and vaccines and then keep it in the country for 3 months or it'd be quarantined alone when we got back in the UK. This was set to cost thousands of pounds, money we really don't have as we just spent 6 months traveling. We have no job secured for our return, so I don't think it's responsible to get the dog, even if she has the money to pay for it all. My girlfriend went to do a day massage course and left me with the dog. I decided that enough was enough and I took the dog for a very, very long walk, put some food down for it before hopping on my bike and going back to the apartment. And the dog didn't find me after that. My girlfriend returned, I'd packed up to go to the next place and she panicked about the dog. I told her the truth and why I'd done it, and she was hysterical and went looking for the dog, like searching everywhere. She ended up breaking up with me, calling me a psycho, and abandoned me in our apartment. I think I did what was right, but am I a jerk? Too long, didn't read. Girlfriend got attached to a stray dog, wanted to bring it back to the UK, costing thousands. I got rid of the dog by luring it away, and my girlfriend left me. Hi, OP. I'm gonna have to say that you're the jerk here, and this is why. Relationships are built around trust, mutual respect, and setting boundaries. You would have been well within your rights to set the boundary and tell her that you wouldn't support her in her decision to adopt the dog. However, from the way that your letter is written, it doesn't sound like you confronted her about this. You use a lot of language like, I don't think it's responsible, and I decided enough was enough, yet you're oddly silent on voicing anything but your initial displeasure to her. I would gather that because you didn't explicitly mention an argument, that you took matters into your own hands and blindsided her with your actions. What you should have done was told her your feelings on this. You could have expressed to her that you thought her plan was irresponsible and that she was welcome to execute it on her own, but you wouldn't support her in this endeavor. You should have allowed her to make her final decision, giving her the space and time she needed to do so. However, you took that away from her by forcing her hand. I would use this as a hard lesson learned that people don't react well when others decide what's best for them. Our final letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Return a Lost Dog That Was Clearly Well Loved? And this is from Whose Dog Is It Anyways? About 7 months ago, a friend found a dog near her house. I took her in and called animal control. They said to bring her in to look for a microchip. She was underweight with dirty fur. Animal control couldn't find a microchip, so they said I could hold on to her for a week and they would list her on their website. And if nobody claimed her, I could adopt her. So that's exactly what happened. My dog now has shiny fur and is very healthy. She's polite and walks well on a leash. She does a lot of tricks. I have depression and anxiety, and she's my support animal. She's honestly the light of my life. Last month, I joined a Facebook group for the same unusual purebred that my dog is. I posted a picture of her in the group. A woman was tagged, and a few hours later, she DMs me. She said my dog was her dog, and she was so thankful that I found her and wanted to arrange to come get her. She offered to pay me for taking good care of her. I thought she was trying to scam me since she lived across the country, but when I looked into it, I found her Instagram with lots of dog pictures and videos. My dog has very unique markings, so is unmistakably the same dog as the one in the pictures. My dog is a show champion and had lots of training to do obedience, agility, and a few other things I've never heard of. She has a lot of fancy titles too. My dog was clearly well cared for, well trained, and well loved. She said her house caught fire last year and she lost everything, including my dog, who ran away. Nobody knows how she traveled so far or what happened between when she got lost and when my friend found her. She never stopped looking for my dog. She even had a video of my dog as a super cute puppy getting a microchip. No idea why the shelter and my vet couldn't find it, but the dog had one at some point. Here's the part where I might be a jerk. I told the woman I appreciated the great job she did with my dog for the first few years of her life. She's 5. And I was sorry to hear about the circumstances, but I couldn't give up my beloved girl. She's my support animal, and so I'm not even sure I could live without her. I offered to send her pictures regularly, but she turned really nasty. I got tons of hateful messages from people I don't even know. I had panic attacks anytime I got notifications because her friends acted like it was my fault. I didn't choose for this special dog to change my life so much, any more than she chose to have my dog get lost. Ultimately, I blocked her because she wouldn't leave me alone. Since she was listed with the shelter for the hold period and no microchip was found, I've adopted her and she's mine. I'm legally in the right, but am I morally in the wrong? I know she loves my dog and wants her back, but I can't picture life without her. Not one where I'm happy anyways. If I could clone my dog and give this chick one, I would. Am I a jerk for thinking about myself and my health and keeping the dog since it's legally mine anyways? Hi OP, this is a rough one. I initially didn't want to say you were a jerk, but unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to. It isn't your fault that they couldn't locate the microchip. From what I've read, microchips can sometimes migrate from the implantation site. You did everything right up until you started communicating with the original owner. In your defense, her friends should not have started sending you hate mail. This behavior was rude, immature, and didn't help at all. Further, if the original owner sent her mob squad after you, then she was a huge jerk for doing this. Next, let's consider things from her point of view. This woman had her house burned down, and her award-winning dog become lost as a result. Keep in mind that she spent years training her companion, likely pouring both love and money into this dog. This woman didn't choose to have her house burned down, or her life turned upside down, and you didn't either. You're both in a really bad position, and I can absolutely empathize with you for not wanting to give up your dog, but I can also empathize with her wanting her dog back. And finally, something to consider. You may not actually be legally in the clear. You may be facing some kind of lawsuit from the original owner. I imagine that your dog is quite expensive, and that the original owner isn't just going to let her go without a fight. If you haven't already, I would consider discussing this with a therapist. They may be able to provide you with additional guidance. Anyhow, good luck. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully you enjoyed these 3 dog stories. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Consider giving me a thumbs up if you think I did a good job. Consider giving me a thumbs down if you think I did a poor job. Anyhow, have a great day, and I'll see you around.